The lesson which I am going to teach today is the introduction to computers. The first slide explains what is data. Data is basically a collection of facts, figures, numbers, words, measurements, observations, or just descriptions of things. When we are talking about data, we must know that there are two types of data. The first one is the qualitative data, which is descriptive information, which means that qualitative data describes something. When we talk about the second type of data, it is the quantitative data. Quantitative, as the name suggests, it's a numerical information which is given in numbers. Quantitative data can be discrete or continuous. These are the two further types of quantitative data. Discrete data can only take certain values like whole numbers, and continuous data can take any value within a range. If I put simply, discrete data is counted and continuous data is measured. So now I'm going to give a few examples of qualitative and quantitative data. Qualitative, for example, what do we know about Arrow the dog? Qualitative is that he is brown, he is black, he has long hair, he has lots of energy. Quantitative is he has 4 legs, he has 2 brothers. And continuous quantitative is he weighs 25 kg, he is 5'6", 5 meter tall. The second slide basically explains what is information. Information can be thought of as the resolution of uncertainty. It is that which answers the question of what an entity is, and thus defines both its essence and the nature of its characteristics. The concept of information has different meanings in different contexts. Thus, the concepts become related to the notions of constraint, communication, data, form, and education. Information is associated with data, but it is very different from data, as data represent values and information is data in context with meanings attached. Now, in the third slide, as I've written some of the differences between data and information, there are several differences which we have discussed earlier in the first and the second slide. Data is raw information. Information informs you of something. It answers a specific question. It represents a specific truth or a fact. Data is a collection of recorded value from which information can be attained. So now I'm going to give you an example which may explain the concept of data and information and how they are different. For example, consider the question, what is the temperature outside? Data provides the basis for an answer to that question. If the data is 25 Celsius, the answer is outside. The temperature is 25.6 Celsius. You must know what temperature is and what degree Celsius, and then you can provide information from the data. Now we are going to discuss hardware and software. So what is hardware? Hardware is a physical part of computer system or electronic device. Hardware we can touch and feel. Hardware is the only one part of a computer system. Hardware can be often categorized into input, output, storage, or processing devices. Devices which are not an integral part of the CPU are known as peripherals. So now you need to know the concept of peripherals. What are peripherals? Peripherals are used for input, storage, or output. Peripheral devices, however, such as a hard disk, keyboard, or a printer. Hardware devices can include monitor, keyboard, CPU, mouse, and it also includes all the parts inside the computer such as the hard disk drive, motherboard, video card, and many more. So in this slide, I have again described the concept of hardware, which I have earlier described. That it is a physical entity. It is not like a software. It is in contrast with the software. It is a physical entity. Hardware and software are interconnected. Without software, the hardware cannot work, and without hardware, a few softwares cannot work. So they both are interconnected. Now we'll talk about the examples of hardware. There are 5 parts of computer hardware that can be found in most computers. From smartphones to desktop computer, processor, primary storage, secondary storage, input devices and output devices are a few hardwares which are found in all the computers. The internal hardware examples include CPU, central processing unit, which is the CPU basically, a fan, modem, motherboard, network card, power supply, RAM. There's a picture on the slide which describes the types of computer hardware, like the hard disk, the CPU, RAM, mouse, keyboard, printer, which I've just described. Now in contrast with hardware, there are softwares which are available in every computer. Software is basically a set of instructions, data or programs used to operate computers and execute specific tasks. Opposite of hardware, which describes the physical aspects of a computer, software is a generic term used to refer to applications, scripts, programs that run on a device. Softwares can be thought of as the variable part of a computer, and hardware is the invariable part. Now you need to know in depth that what is a variable part and what is an invariable part. Software is often divided into categories, which I will explain. Software is capable of performing many tasks. No doubt that they perform many tasks, and there are many softwares. And nowadays, people earn, after the invention of computers, people earn by producing new softwares. This is a business, and it is very widely accepted and known business. So the 4 categories of software which I have divided them into is, the first one is the programming software. Programming software is a set of tools to aid developers in writing programs. The various tools available are computer compilers, linkers, debuggers, interpreters, and text editors. The second type, which I have not mentioned in this slide but I am going to explain it, is the system software. System software serve as a base for application software. System softwares include device drivers, operator systems, compiler, disk formatters, disk texters, text editors, utilities helping the computers to operate more efficiently. It is also responsible for managing hardware components and providing basic non-task specific functions. The third type is the application software, which is widely used. Application software is intended to perform certain tasks. Example of application software include office suites, gaming applications, database systems, and educational software. Malicious software, also known as malware. Malicious software is intentionally developed to damage computers and disrupt softwares. Harm is often caused unknown to user who inadvertently install malware, since the type of software usually acts in secret. Examples of malware include spyware, computer viruses, Trojan horses, worms, adware. In a nutshell, without a software, a computer won't perform any function and will simply be a useless, inert machine. Different type of softwares also exert in different direct mutual relations. Softwares are basically written in high-level programming language and is readable by people. High-level instructions are those which are converted into machine language instructions represented in binary code before the hardware can run the code. There are high level instructions, and then there are low level instructions, which we have already studied in this book earlier. The types of software that I have discussed earlier is the system software and the application software. Here I'm going to discuss them briefly again because it is written in the slide. System software includes operating systems and any programs that supports application software. Okay, so system software helps run the computer hardware and computer itself. System software include operating system, device drivers, diagnostic tools, and more. System software is also always pre-installed on your computers. The second one is the application software, allows computer to accomplish one or more tasks at a single time. It includes word processing, web browsing, and almost any other task for which you might install softwares. This was all that was needed to be discussed. The main topics which I was covering in this lesson or in this PPT were the softwares, the types of softwares, the hardwares, the type of hardwares, and that's all. Thank you.